want you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. Let's go to my next story, y'all. We've had several NFL coaches who've been fired this year, a whole lot of them black coaches. And now, of course, you have the Arizona Cardinals hiring Kliff Kingsbury, who was fired by Texas Tech after going 35-40. Now, look, he's a brilliant offensive mind. He was an offensive coordinator at Texas A&M under Kevin Sumlin. Did a great job, but I'm just trying to figure out, is that what happens when you get fired on the college level and then you get one of 32 most prominent jobs in all of sports? Well, last night, Dallas TV anchor Dale Hansen of WFAA TV had this spot-on commentary. Check it out.
Been a lot of criticism of the Arizona Cardinals hiring Kliff Kingsbury as their new coach. Even my guys Mike and Jonah have been questioning that hire. But Kingsbury fits all the criteria to be a head coach in the NFL. He's an offensive genius, he's young, and he's white. And not necessarily in that order. There have been 6 new coaches hired so far, all white, and 2 coaches of color they are replacing. Stephen Wilkes, fired in Arizona after just 1 year. Vance Joseph in Denver after just 2. But Cowboys coach Jason Garrett is in his 9th year, apparently because he wins so much. A lot of people don't understand how Kingsbury can have a losing record at Texas Tech, no NFL experience, and get one of the 32 NFL jobs. But getting fired at Tech doesn't eliminate him from moving up, at least it doesn't to me. I've had 11 jobs in my life, been fired from 8 of them, and moved up every time. And I am arrogant enough to tell you, I think Channel 8 was right to give me another chance. But I am the product of white privilege in America, and I've never denied that I wasn't either. If they made a poster, my picture should be on it. Getting fired at one place and getting another chance isn't the problem. But young, talented coaches of color not getting the chance, that's a huge problem. The covert racism of the NFL ownership group was so bad, the NFL had to make a rule so that minority coaches could at least get an interview. Cowboys secondary coach Kris Richard has been interviewed, and there are reports saying he might get the Miami job. After what he's done with this Cowboys defense, how could he not? Unless it is true, what black parents have been telling their children for decades now, you have to be twice as good to go half as far. I dream of the day when those parents are wrong, because now they're not.
All right, joining us right now is Dale Hansen. And Dale, here's what's stunning to me. What's stunning to me is black coaches are told, go through the system, pay your dues, be a DB coach, be a line coach, and then all of a sudden, you know, get a head coaching job, go to a Division I school, hopefully get one of those jobs and work your way up. And this is, and again, Kliff Kingsbury, nice guy, but there's no way in the world on his resume that the guy has earned to be an NFL head coach.
No, he hasn't. I like Kliff Kingsbury. I've talked to him several times, and I do think he is one of those young offensive geniuses that the NFL wants. But there's just no question. My argument is not against Kliff Kingsbury per se. It's against the opportunities that he gets, and so many talented young coaches of color do not get the opportunity. I mean, I do think the Kris Richard situation will be a good test. What Kris Richard has done with the Seattle Seahawks and then coming to Dallas, and what he's done with this defense and being in a position of such a high profile with the Dallas Cowboys, if he can't parlay that into a head coaching job in the NFL, and yet Kliff Kingsbury can, then I think we've identified the problem.
Well, same as Eric Bieniemy. I mean, here's a guy who's an offensive coordinator and has done a hell of a job and has paid his dues over a significant period of time. Then also, here's the other issue, because the thing trickles down, that a Kingsbury, or let's say Art Briles' son, who's a hot offensive coordinator who now is at Florida State. Well, guess what? Same thing. Charlie Wise's son gets to become an offensive coordinator. I think he's barely 24 years old. And so I always say, well, show me the black guy who's 24 or 25 or 27 who's a brilliant offensive mind, and that also happens. So you have black coaches who don't even get the offensive coordinator jobs in college to even get in position to be a head coach in the college level, and then you can't get on the pro level.
Well, this has always been the argument, and I do think it's what President Bush first said. It is the soft bigotry of lower expectations, and I think we see that all the way through. I asked former Cowboys coach Tom Landry this years ago as to why there wasn't any black quarterbacks in the NFL, and his answer was that there aren't any black quarterbacks in college. There aren't, at that time, not many black quarterbacks in college because there weren't many black quarterbacks in high school. And when there was a quarterback who played in college, when they went to the NFL, they are almost always pushed to play wide receiver, to play cornerback or safety. I think there is this soft bigotry of low expectations that has permeated the entire system for a long time. We're starting to see it change. But if you don't give a coach an opportunity to be an offensive or a defensive coordinator, if you don't give that coach an opportunity to be a head coach at the college level, how are they supposed to go become an NFL head coach? And yet I've heard people today actually make that argument that if they want to be a coach, they have to become a coordinator. If they want to be a coach, they have to be successful at the college level. And Kliff Kingsbury, as much as I do like the young man, Kliff Kingsbury breaks all of those rules. He wasn't a coordinator, no NFL experience. His record at Texas Tech, as you pointed out, was a losing record. He never improved his defense to become a winning coach, and he jumped straight to one of 32 jobs in America. Well, it's a broken system, and somebody needs to fix it.
Well, and also, and again, people criticize Colin Kaepernick and others for protesting police brutality, but the reason they even have the Rooney Rule is because they were threatened with a lawsuit from the late Johnny Cochran and other attorneys. I was also talking to an NFL writer, Dale. This is what he told me. He said, in the history of the NFL, there has never been a club president who's African American.
I'm sure there has.
Not a single one.
We're doing a follow-up on this, or at least we will be in the next couple of days, because of just what the issue has become. How many black general managers do you have in the NFL?
There you go.
Ozzie Newsome in Baltimore. There might be one or two others. How many black coordinators do you have in the NFL? Not many. And this is in a sport that is dominated by the young black athlete. I mean, the black athlete makes up about 70% of the NFL rosters. And yet, for some reason, they just can't seem to find the young or even the old black head coach who can motivate and lead a football team that is 70% of color. And I think there again, it is simply the covert racism of the ownership that has been in place for such a long time. And when you see it repeated over and over and over, with coaches not only being given opportunities that a coach of color can't get, and then you see coaches who have failed at the NFL level and get 2 and 3 opportunities to try it again. And yet there is no young coach of color that might have deserved an opportunity. It's not right. I mean, the bottom line, I think we all know that it's not right. I do think it's getting better. I do think it will change. The reality is it just won't change fast enough in my lifetime.
Well, I'll tell you what, it is interesting that Kingsbury served under Kevin Sumlin at Texas A&M. Sumlin, very much a winning record at the University of Houston, very much a winning record at my alma mater, Texas A&M, and he's now at University of Arizona with the Arizona Wildcats, but the guy who coached under him is the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals.
There's a lot of those examples. I mean, there are a lot of them, as you well know. And I don't know how we break this cycle, but I mean, it is, and it's true in all of society. When you mention there are no black presidents, the presidents, let's assume for the moment, are doing the hiring. They tend to hire people who look like them.
Yep.
And it's true in every aspect of society. And that's why we need to break this down, to level the playing field. I don't think anyone is asking for more than what they're entitled to, and that is simply an opportunity.
That's it.
A chance to compete. That's all anybody really wants. And I think we need to figure out a way to do that.
As James Brown said, what's the line, Greg?
I don't want nothing.
I don't want nothing. Just open the door, and I'll get it myself. All right, Dale Hansen, keep calling them out. We appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot. Tell everybody in Dallas what's up.
That's right, bro.
Will do, Roland. Thank you.
All right, take care. Go ahead, Kliff.
Y'all can argue I want to, but let's be.
We will.
Let's look at this from a racial behavioral perspective. The people with the athletic prowess in most of these sports are black. They outshine everybody else in terms of their capacity to get on these fields and do their thing. White people have to have relevance too. Since they can't have the same level of racial relevance and capacity as most of these brothers who are and sisters when it comes to tennis and other means of sports, they can't do that. They got to be the ones in control, or else they can't handle the whole situation. Did that make any sense to anybody? Did I lose somebody?
As the plantation leader.
Yes,
the NFL,
exactly.
The NFL is a plantation.
Exactly.
I haven't watched
Yes.
the snap in 2 years, and I don't plan on watching.
I haven't watched it in a long
White
time.
college football is a plantation.
Absolutely.
Watch this. The Rooney Rule, named for Rooney, owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is important. When Dale mentioned Tom Landry, one of the quarterbacks he didn't have to compete against was Jefferson Street Joe Gillum.
There you go.
Who led the Pittsburgh Steelers to a 4-0 record before they gave the job to an affirmative action candidate out of Louisiana named Terry Bradshaw. Joe Gillum was developed by his father, one of the great offensive minds of HBCU football, Joe Gillum Sr. The NFL coaches in the summertime used to go to the HBCUs and pick the brains of the black college brain trust at the HBCU level. Where am I going with this? Very quickly.
Coach at Florida A&M.
FAMU.
FAMU.
No, Grambling,
of course, Eddie Robinson.
They lived on the sidelines in the summertime. This is what happens. The labor of the NFL and white plantation college football is black. They also put on their staffs black men to pick their brains, offensive minds who are backfield coaches, who are line coaches. So they have the brothers there to keep it. And then as you get closer to the top of the plantation, just like on a plantation, the guy with the whip, the overseer, the coordinators are white, and the owner of the plantation hires the plantation overseer who is the head coach. What am I saying with this? There are plenty of black coaches. They pick their brains for, look on those NFL staffs and look at who are closest to the labor, and that's where you find the genius. But they would never be allowed to run it because it's a plantation.
And it's because they're geniuses in black that white people say, okay, they got all the prowess, but we got to run this because we have to have relevance.
And this is why, CJ, go ahead.
Oh, I'm hoping, and Dale is correct, but I'm hoping that going to the Super Bowl and the first owners meeting, that the commissioner brings some of the older folks who were around in the league, like a Harold Henderson and others, to come in and say, look, we need to make some changes. This is very prevalent. Everybody's talking about it. And the Rooney Rule needs to be updated. And some other things they need to have a closed-door meeting.
No, here's the deal. First of all,
no, they really do.
What you just described, they've literally done numerous times. What this is, these are, again, I go back to what I just described, what I said with Dale. There's never been a black club president, which means the highest, Ozzie Newsome with the Baltimore Ravens, who's retiring, that's the highest if you black, the highest you can get, you're going to be a GM. Or you might be head of a player personnel. But you ain't going to be club president because he is owner and is club president. That's what this is all about. Yes. And this is about power.
That's right.
It is about economic power.
And control.
Because it is about the fact that not only because see, that's also who determines who gets drafted, who gets paid, how they get paid. Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. has said for years, the reason black people have excelled football and basketball and baseball and tennis and golf, he said because the rules are clear, they're transparent, and they're published. He said in basketball, the court is 94 feet long. The length from the free throw line to the rim is the same in an NBA arena, a college stadium, and a high school gym. The three-point line is different on the college and the pro level, same distance. It's 10 feet high, the goal. You get the same timeouts I get, you get 5, I get 5. Now it's time to play ball. The difference is in every other aspect, even in sports off the court. Your court is 85 feet. Mine is 105. Your rim is 7 feet. Mine's 12. And then black people will go back and we'll practice. Follow me.
We will.
We'll say, all right, y'all done moved to go from 10 to 12 feet? All right, cool. I'm going to go back and work out, and I'm going to work my butt off to dunk this damn ball 12 feet.
Yes, sir.
Then when we come back after we worked out, then they like, oh, my bad. It's now 15 feet.
Right.
So then black people got to go, It'll move the damn goal up. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. You know what? Okay. I'm going to go back and I'm going to train for that 15-foot goal. And then you go bust your butt and train. And then when you come back, they go, oh, we dropped it to 11. So now you overshoot the damn rim. That's the story of black people off the court in sports, in corporate America, in media, in politics, in every avenue. You talked about Trump earlier. That white boy is doing stuff Obama could never do. Why? Because Obama's a brother. Hell, Obama couldn't even wear a damn tan suit. Well, these folks losing their mind.
Couldn't get network.
In America, there's a standard for white men in America, for white women in America, and everybody else is after them. Now go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you a question in terms of if there was a black president of the NFL, what kind of power would he have?
Well, again, though, first of all, even as an NFL commissioner, the commissioner works for the owners.
Okay.
That's the problem. So the commissioner has power.
Okay.
He has leverage. No, let me correct that. The commissioner has leverage. The commissioner has influence. Owners got power. He works for them. The problem with the NFL is ain't nobody black in the room. Because when the 32 get together, you've never had a black NFL owner. So you don't have somebody black. See, it's just like when you have a board of directors. You used to have a whole bunch of all white dudes. And all of a sudden, black folks got on boards. Well, then the white folks on the board couldn't say the same stuff they used to say because you had somebody going like, hey, hell up. It's true. Hopefully you had a brother who would say that because you got some who are not conscious. Right. But the reality is, when black folks have had a seat at the table, we've been able, as Thurgood Marshall said, we've been able to bring all of our blackness to bear. Right. So the conversation now changes because we're here. For the NFL, when the owners go into a meeting, Goodell got to lead a room. He's staff.
But Roland, how many black athletic superstars in the NFL during their period of play or even after their period of play has raised the issues that you raised?
Oh, a number.
Challenged the
A
system?
number. But here's the problem. Here's the problem. Again, there's a difference between influence, leverage, and power. So let me just use Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is called the greatest basketball player of all time. Michael Jordan used to get pissed off with Jerry Krause and Jerry Reinsdorf in Chicago. Reinsdorf was sensitive to Michael Jordan's criticism, but he let him know, I'm the owner and Jerry Krause is the GM. So what happened when Michael Jordan came to D.C.? Abe Pollan owned the team. They sucked. They had never made money in their whole damn existence. Michael, how he walked and talked and how he rolled, ticked off Abe Pollan. In fact, when Michael was a player, when they had a strike, Michael lashed out at Abe Pollan and said, damn it, if you can't make money with the team, sell it. Abe never forgot.
Nope.
So Michael stops being in management. Michael, all of a sudden, goes back and play. Arena sells out. The Washington Wizards, from Bullets to the Wizards, made money for the first time ever.
Wow.
Michael says, I'm done playing. Michael says, I'm going back and get my job. Michael walks into the meeting with Ted Leonis.
Come on, brother.
Who's now the owner of the Washington Wizards. Ted Leonis to his right, Michael Jordan sitting right here. They sit across from Abe Pollan, and Michael says, I'm ready to come back to be head of the club. Now, Michael, we go in another direction. We appreciate all your contributions. Yep. And in fact, Michael, here's a check for $10 million, and we thank you for all that you've done.
Remember the article, Roland?
Michael Jordan
sped out.
Michael Jordan sat there.
Come on,
Michael Jordan sat there. Was like, whoa, hold up. I'm Michael damn Jordan. I got 6 rings. Abe Pollan said, thank you very much. We go in another direction. Michael Jordan walked out of the room, left the $10 million check on the table.
Come on, brother.
Bolted out of the stadium, got in his Jaguar, top down, sped off the lot, mad as hell.
Mad as hell.
Abe Pollan taught Michael Jordan ass a lesson.
Sure did.
You might be a player, and you might be the greatest of all time. You got leverage. You got influence. My ass on the team, I got power. Why do you think Michael
drove away? What did he do?
Michael was pissed off.
Right.
You know what he did? No. You know what he did? He went to North Carolina and went to Chicago, and he said, I'm buying my ass an NBA team. He got close to owning the Milwaukee Bucks, and then Herb Cole decided to say, I'm going to keep owning the team. And then when Bob Johnson screwed the Charlotte franchise up, Michael came in and became the owner. That's the difference.
Yes.
Power is about who owns.
I get it.
And that's why they're called owners in the NFL.
I get
Let me
it.
ask you a question. So individuals have influence, as you say. Kurt Flood did the same thing. No free agent in every free agent in professional sports need to know Kurt Flood's name when he bucked the St. Louis Cardinals and created modern free agency.
And very few of the current players went to his funeral.
That's exactly right. Did not. Let me
Why
ask you
is
a question. Well, I mean, they don't. This is where the ignorance of history is a burden. The labor is black and brown. What would happen if they exercise collective power? I'm thinking about Eric Reed,
That's
who's
what
been
I'm
drug
saying.
tested
But
a
here's-
billion times, and the union didn't say it.
I agree.
I'm just asking.
No. I agree with collective. But again, if you want to use your slavery analogy,
Yes.
this is how the system is set up. First of all, the NFL, out of all professional leagues, has the shortest career span. Okay? Shortest
correct.
out of baseball and NBA.
Yeah.
Shortest. Okay? Second of all, it's the only one out of the top professional leagues that does not have guaranteed contracts. Third, it's the one that has the most severe injuries long term.
That's true.
And so if the average NFL career is only 3.5 years, you are not going to sacrifice one of those years.
Get your money.
But again, it is my-
Yeah.
That's it. But here's the deal. And they know that.
That's right.
And here's the other piece. What they'll do is they'll say, okay, say something. Your ass play special teams. I'm going to cut you. They also, Colin Kaepernick was
That's
one of
what
those
I
top.
already
See,
mentioned
so again, same Colin Kaepernick. They did, no, we're going to teach your ass a lesson. Okay? Colin Kaepernick is being whiteballed. He's being taught a lesson. That is a, my name is Kunta. No, you're going to say Toby moment.
Yes, indeed.
They
Absolutely.
want
Absolutely.
Colin Kaepernick to say Toby, which is why when he had his deposition with the Houston Texans and the late owner Bob McNair, he wore his Kunta Kinte shirt to the deposition.
Nah,
That's what's going on. This is a power thing.
Yes.
So as long as no black person is ever sitting in an owner's box, you're not going to have anybody in those meetings checking all white owners. That's the reality of the NFL.
Well,
The
it's my
slavery
hope.
metaphor that he uses is just unfortunately extremely perfect.
Which is why Bill Rhoton wrote the book, $40 Million Slaves.
Yeah.
Well,
CJ, final comment before I deal with white supremacy in your party and the House, but go right ahead.
It is my hope when they do have the owners meeting that those African Americans who are minority owners of some of these teams participate in the owners meeting and have a very
They
frank,
can't. They're not owners.
but have a frank conversation. So whether that's Venus and Serena Williams that have minority
Miami Dolphins, you got Kirby John Caldwell, who's a minority owner with the Houston Texans. You got very few African, right.
These
It is
people are not compassionate.
They are compassionate.
Well, again, you got people there, but I'm just saying,
hoping that
you
they
got
will be
folks
able to
there,
go.
but the problem
It's
the
my
problem
hope that they
exists
will.
in terms of really, again, it all boils down to power. All right. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.